I tell all my bros, rag it up, brush it down, tie it up, rag it up, rag it up, rag it up, tie it up, tie it up, tie it up, rag it up, rag it up, rag it up, tie it up, tie it up, tie it up. I tell all my bros, rag it up, brush it down, tie it up, rag it up, rag it up, rag it up, tie it up, tie it up, tie it up, rag it up, rag it up, rag it up, tie it up, tie it up, tie it up.
Take my rag out the zipper. Then I had to flip it. Wear it in the sun. They say I'm that nigga. Then I had to twist it. Yeah, you already know it. I wear it in bad weather to shelter me from storms. Do-rag lines on my forehead cause it cause a lot of pain. All types of different colors, man, so they don't stay the same. I'm a do-rag champ. I never take off. Gotta protect my head to knock them flakes off. I might tuck it up. I don't play, bro. I might tuck it up. Better stay away, bro.
I tell all my bros, rag it up, brush it down, tie it up, rag it up, rag it up, rag it up, tie it up, tie it up, tie it up, rag it up, rag it up, rag it up, tie it up, tie it up, tie it up. I tell all my bros, rag it up, brush it down, tie it up, rag it up, rag it up, rag it up, tie it up, tie it up, tie it up, rag it up, rag it up, rag it up, tie it up, tie it up, tie it up.
Get that flat top out the way, wave it like a lake. You call that a flat. I call this my cake.
3, 2.
Oh, that's right. She don't say it no more. Oh well.
That is not gangster. That's very not gangster.
Came up, got my name up. So when it's bling up, I'm who bring up. Come up dissing and you'll come up missing. I'm a cutthroat baller like OJ. I came up, got my name up. So when they speak of who bling up, I'm who they bring up. Come up dissing you'll come up.
I couldn't hear you over the sound of me myself.
I just came up, got my name up. So when they speak of who bling up, I'm who they bring up. Come up dissing and you'll come up missing. I'm a cutthroat baller like O.J. Simpson. Little homie, listen, try and serve me. I put in 25 in your back like Barry Bonds serves you on the street, on the beat. Y'all ain't able to do our shit on rappers like major labels. What's with the ice grill, homie? Change your face. It's either do more than tangible to change your race. Girls love metaphor, and I love them back. Addicted to getting head. Call me the brainiac. Battle rap with words war like G had. I write dope, slow crack, my notepad need rehab. Fuck y'all CDs, I can't see these or touch these. Rhyme so chronic, my soul see you the munchies.
Do 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 do.
Hey, you remember the Michigan J Frog?
I remember the WB Frog.
Yeah, his name was Michigan J.
I didn't know what that coon ass frog name was.
Yeah, that frog was definitely. Well,
that frog was racist. Like that was so damn racist. That had to be the most racist thing that was on TV for no reason whatsoever, dog. But I ain't gonna lie, dog.
I think that frog was in blackface.
Frog was in black. No, that frog was a coon. It was, no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Especially, I mean, but we really we can't hate on the WB. Yes, they made a bad decision by that damn frog. But we did get some damn good shows out of it, though, man. Like the fucked up part.
Yeah, but they canceled everything.
WB as a whole, though. I mean, honestly, Doug, I don't see how people were not openly offended by the frog. I mean, because he was a mascot for like 10 years, bruh. Because he was supposed to be a crack on
you know what, bro?
Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck.
Most people aren't offended by things that they think are cool.
True.
Like, it's offensive, but it's cool, so Why should we be offended by it?
I mean, I guess. But we can't lie, though, dog. WB Kids was cracking. Because for a long time, dog, that was the only way we got Saturday cartoons.
It was pretty lit. It was an emotional time. It was an emotional time for children back then.
It was. And taking consideration, dog, they gave black folks a chance during a time when we really wasn't getting like black sitcoms like that. You know, we got Parenthood, we got Sister, we got the Wayans brothers, you know, the Jamie Foxx show, the Steve Harvey show. So, I mean, I can't really be too mad at the WB, though.
Well, I'm not mad at the network. Well, technically, we should be mad at the network because they're racist.
For that racist-ass frog.
The ass frog was definitely racist.
It was. But, I mean, WB Kids was the shit, dog, because a lot of cartoons we grew up on, well, you know, kids up under us grew up on, was on, you know, Kids WB and shit like Powerpuff Girls, Toonami as a whole, you know, like Dragon Ball Z that niggas are still going crazy about to this day. We all got introduced to us through the WB, dog. So, you know, shout out to the WB.
I don't think I don't think the Powerpuff Girls get the respect they deserve.
I don't think they do either, dog. Like, real talk, them was some gangster ass girls. First of all, they out here whooping all kind of ass. Okay, still going to kindergarten, because that's, I think, a lot of people didn't realize these were like kindergartners, dog. So they was like 5, 6, and 7. So let that sink in, dog. Like, these kids is out here whooping whole ass. Do you know the story? But do you know the story about Mojo Jojo?
Nah, he's just cool because his name was Mojo. His name was Mojo Jojo. Jojo.
Do you know that Mojo Jojo was their pet monkey? Yeah. So
and
the professor had a pet monkey. Yeah, what happened was the professor had a pet monkey, okay? But I guess having a pet monkey wasn't enough. So when he went to go make the girls, you know, the sugar and spice, everything nice and Chemical X, the explosion that created the Powerpuff Girls, the monkey was in the room when the explosion happened, okay? And the effects that the Chemical X had on the monkey was it made him super smart. And his brain, which I've still to this day, I don't think people realize, his brain outgrew his skull. So it shattered his skull. He had to put the glass beaker on his head to protect his brain from being exposed. So yeah, bruh.
So what you're saying is that Mojo was woke?
Mojo was woke as fuck.
Yeah, Mojo was woke.
This is how woke he was. Y'all, if you've ever watched the Powerpuff Girls, there was a moment in time where Mojo Jojo made boys called the Rowdy Rough Boys, which was literally his version of the Powerpuff Girls. But they was thugs. They gave no fucks. They just whooped ass. I forgot how they defeated them. But yeah, there was some real ass shit going on in the Powerpuff Girls, dog. The mayor was a dumbass, but he had the baddest chick in the game wearing his chain.
Oh my life. She was so bad.
You never seen her face, but she was. You only seen her neck down, dog. At the end of the day, we knew for a fact she was the running the shit. Because even when the Powerpuff Girls was like, fuck this, I just want to be kids, she sat them down. She put them on game. You had a redneck that was living out in the wilderness, and bro was just like, stay off my property. That's all he wanted you to do. He had a full-blown musket.
Fuzzy Lumpkin.
Fuzzy Lumpkins. Fan was cool until he got a meat gun. When he got a meat gun and accidentally turned Bubbles' hair to meat, because if you don't know anything, never touch a black woman's hair. Apparently never touch a Powerpuff Girl's hair, too, because she whooped his whole ass. Oh, real shit. Hey, but at the end of the day, dog, Powerpuff Girls gave us one of the realest cartoons in the world, which was Dial M for Monkey. And that's when you seen a monkey go toe-to-toe and Randy Savage, a.k.a. Rasslor. Look it up, dog.
Shout out. I saw that episode. That was swag.
Like one monkey, because he was on his John Cena swag and wouldn't stay down, saved the world.
You gotta never give up, man. Hustle, loyalty, respect.
Because Fan would not stay down. That's the only reason. Fam, Marshall Man was out here on his Thanos shit. Like, bro was going from planet to planet wrecking shit if you could not beat him in a match. Dog, imagine that as a real life movie, dog. Like, Thanos is out here going from planet to planet looking for somebody to fight. And if you couldn't beat dog, Fan was going to tear shit up.
Bro, you like 10 feet tall. Who was really going to take that fight?
Fam, apparently a lot of people. You know what, bro? It's been 2 weeks. Or has it been a week?
You feel like it's appropriate to talk about?
Yeah, it's a week. There's no spoiler free. That, you know, we ain't got to worry about bitches crying. We can spoil everything now. Because we had people come back and get mad at us about the fact that they say we spoiled Black Panther for them. Just don't listen.
How did we spoil Black Panther?
Because apparently they listened live but didn't go see it yet. Nobody told them to dial in.
I'm at the point in my life that, look, if you... Like, look, the movie comes out Thursday. It's advertised for Friday. It comes out Thursday. So between Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the following Tuesday, that is only $5. If you haven't seen this movie by Tuesday, you're just being lazy.
True. And we do our show on Thursdays.
Don't work. Most people... Right. So we actually skip a show to go to the show and see the movie. Most people don't have weekend jobs, so look, I know y'all got $10, man. Y'all not that broke. This is not really, I mean, we're still in a recession, but it's not a big recession. Like, I don't know, as long as Trump don't, that's another story for another time. I don't want to talk about that right now.
I feel.
Or the fact that Childish Gambino shot a whole man in this video.
No,
whatever that was about.
I'm not mad at Childish Gambino. The only thing about the Childish Gambino video, we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's go ahead and let's go ahead and let's do a quick recap. Of Infinity War, so we can get it out the way.
Okay, I got it. I'll sum it up for everybody in about 2 seconds. Thanos showed up. He fucked shit up. People faded away. He's happy to eliminate on his back porch. End of story.
Now, that basically was the quickest synopsis in regards to the movie. Let's go ahead and let's touch a couple of key points in this movie real quick so we can go ahead and get this out the way and move on with our life. Number one, the fact that a key person of the movie who had been advertised as part of this movie from the minute it was announced, to the commercials, to the marketing stuff, to the freebie giveaways, only was in the movie for about 5 minutes, and that is the Hulk.
And within that 5 minutes, he got the shit beat out of him.
Right, that's what I was getting ready to say. Now, the fact that Hulk would not come out for the rest of the movie after catching them hands, because Thanos was on his Braun Strowman, do you feel that hurted the image of the Hulk, or do you feel like it's just setting him up for some epic return coming into the next one?
Well, I feel like it didn't hurt him. Well, like when you look at how they've been structuring the MCU, like Hawk has always been, the wild card, and the Hawk is Hawk. People have this image like, I mean, especially if you don't read comic books or you don't know anything about comic books, from the perception of Hawk, you were like, all right, no one can beat the Hawk. But there are people who can beat the Hawk.
Right.
Just like there are people who can beat Thanos. But, like, I felt like they did it right. Like, Thanos he's been set it's like a debut. It's like wrestling. When you debut and you get this big push, like, we've had 10 years of vignettes for Thanos. Like,
right.
He's been on his way for 10 years.
Like, fam, he didn't have
It took him a while to get here. But he's been on his way for 10 years. And he finally showed up. And when he showed up, he was not for play. Like, bro, like, Loki was like, we got a Hawk. Thanos was like, well, I got these hands. Like, to the best of my knowledge, did he beat up Hawk before even activating the Power Stone?
He had nothing. The thing about the ass whooping he took from Thanos, that is legitimately just a straight up regular fist-to-fist fight. Now,
I don't even think the Power Stone was popping just then. Like, I knew he had it.
That was just hands.
But it wasn't activated yet.
Yeah, that was just pure hands. Now, the thing about it is, and this is where a lot of controversy is coming into play at, Hulk was not the highest level of pistivity that he's known that he could be. So a lot of people felt that had you allowed Hulk to just, be pissed off, took the L, and continue to fight, that eventually the rage should have built up in him enough that would have made the Hulk be able to go toe-to-toe with him. But I had to counteract with a lot of people, and Thanos technically would have still whooped his ass. I'm a comic book reader, and I brushed up on the whole entire Infinity storyline because it's a 3-part huge story arc that kind of expands past this. A bunch of people we haven't seen, you probably will start seeing in part 4, because we definitely have had hints in regards to a couple of them. But it all boils down to it. In a regular, if we have to fight to save the world, Hulk would have lost, and we all would have been dead. That's part of the reason why that kind of made Hulk scared to come back out afterwards. Like, bro, kind of realized I've never been beaten like this, that I don't even want to deal with this. Because you got to remember, every Hulk movie, he has like missiles, rockets, guns, the whole Hulk Buster suit itself. He's had a lot of people give him the business. And even after them giving him the business, he still wants to come back out. Whether it's to protect somebody he loves or it's to throw them hands, he's always came back. Okay? This particular situation, he did not want to come back. He caught a 2-piece and a biscuit. He called it a day. It's like, I'm not about this life. I'll just go ahead and chill. But that did set up a very interesting dynamic throughout the rest of the movie. Honestly, people, not to give the movie away 100%, but if you don't know by now, make a lot of key people disappear. And we ended up hitting this wall where he's sitting on a farm on a planet, minding his own business. I have to go ahead and give a quick update. A lot of people, if you've never read the comics include the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity War, and I forgot what the last one is. I literally was just reading them today. The final scene with Thanos sitting on a planet in a little hut, minding his own business, that's truly actually the snapshot of the final end. There's definitely more to the story than what we're being told, but with the introduction of characters like Adam Warlock, which if you've seen the previews from, was it Guardians of the Galaxy 2? In the 2? When he was in the cocoon?
Yeah, it was the end of 2.
Yeah, so if
it was the end of 2.
It's a 2. You seen someone in the cocoon and someone said, I'll name him Adam. That should be Adam Warlock, who plays a key factor in the Infinity Stones. And then, of course, the pager scene at the end of this one, which was basically before Nick Fury disappeared. He sent out the message to Carol Danvers. We would definitely get the Captain Marvel movie before we get the Avengers 4 movie. So you'll get to see who she is, her origins, and everything. And then from there, we'll roll into the Infinity Wars 4, which should close the chapter on the first round of Marvel movies. And now we will move into the next round, which is so up in the air because they have not truly told us what the next major story arc will be, especially now that a lot of commercial licensing has now opened the door for them to go so many different directions. The MCU does create their own storylines on the back of comic stories, so they can choose any storyline and tweak it. But see, go ahead.
From what they have been saying, like before the Fox licensing thing was even in play, that a lot of people had said that they would go cosmic, so they would deal with more of the space realm of what the MCU can be, which is why I think they're going to introduce a lot of characters who, deal with, being in space, which I think is dope. But then you also have things surfacing, like there's a picture that I posted in our wrestling group. There's a picture of artwork of Jamie Foxx as Blade. So even if they don't get Jamie Foxx to play Blade, is there another side of Marvel that we haven't seen yet as far as what Blade does?
Well, there's a lot
in the first three Blades, I don't even think. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, so even in the first three Blades, a lot of people didn't know Blade was a Marvel character. Like, you had to really be a super comic book guy to understand that Blade was a Marvel character. Because I didn't know Blade was.
It's a lot of things out there now that if you didn't know was a comic book, you wouldn't know was a comic book.
I just found out Steel was a DC character.
Yeah, he is.
He's a low-level DC character.
Yeah, so
nobody mentions him, but Shaq played a DC character. He was Steel.
Right. So what happened was in the Death of Superman back in the 90s, when they officially said, you know what, Soup, you really ain't making money for us like that. Baxton came in. He's running the game. We need to do something to keep you, we don't really need you, so we're going to kill you off. So in the 90s, they did this big, huge, epic storyline called The Death of Superman. It was so big, bro, like regular local news outlets was covering it like, yo, president just died. That's how major it was. I went out and I read it, and it was, to me, it was one of the best deaths ever in comic books, because this was before the whole you can be dead in comics but you'll still come back. Back then, when they killed you, they killed you. That was it. When you died, you died. Okay? So what happened was, after they killed off Superman, there was this huge void left. When this void was left, there was all these Superman-inspired things that came up. Okay? One of them happened to be, technically, Steel, John Irons, a.k.a. Steel. He went by the Man of Steel at first, and he wore Superman on the S on his chest in this all low-budget Iron Man-esque outfit, and that was the whole thing. And he was low level. He handled business in the streets, and basically when they resurrected Superman, which pissed off the comic book collectors so much, like, people would go ahead and pay like exuberant amounts to buy this mint condition #1 issue of The Death of Superman, only for you 3 or 4 years later, not even that I think it was a whole lot sooner than that, go ahead and bring him back. It says, oh, well, you know what, because he's Kryptonian, their body's a little bit different, so bro really wasn't dead, he really was in And what happens is when a Kryptonian gets close to death, their body shuts down, and only a few things is working until he heals. That's what the excuse was they said to use to bring him back. So it pissed off a lot of people, dog. And like folks was like, I'm not buying comics no more. And like literally the comic book market crashed. Like it was a lot of other major factors, but like killing somebody and bringing them back really pissed a lot of people off. The only one that has ever been a justifiable bringing back because of the situation behind the death was the Red Hood. When they killed off Jason Todd, a lot of people, it was so much controversy behind it. Now, you're not a big comic book fan, and a lot of people really never paid attention to DC, but the thing about it is, with Jason Todd, he was the
Robin, wasn't he?
Yeah, one Robin, okay?
Because I know there's been different variations or different guys that were Robin.
Yeah, there's been at least
maybe that name is just like a stigma, fam. Niggas shouldn't want to be Robin because you die.
Well, there's four different legitimate Robins. Fifth, if you count the chick that was added to the Dark Knight Returns, but her actual name was Robin, so to me, I don't count her. But apparently, she does matter. All right, so there's four significant Robins that have been through Batman's lore. There is Dick Grayson, which is the first Robin, which is Nightwing, which has been part of the Teen Titans, and then he out here doing his own thing. Okay, the second Robin was Jason Todd. The thing about it is, in the comic books, was they basically made him. His backstory was damn near identical to Nightwing's. Okay, the only difference is when Batman found him, instead of being at the circus when his parents died, Jason Todd stole the wheels off the Batmobile. Okay.
What?
Yeah. Batman was going out, surveying the land. During the time when he went to go check this building on suspicious activity, Jason Todd, who now at this point in time is like a dude living off the streets, stole the wheels off the Batmobile. He had already got one wheel off and was coming back to get the second wheel when Batman found him. Being surprised that somebody was able to not only bypass his security system, but was still able to steal a wheel off the Batmobile, he took him in. The difference between Jason Todd and Nightwing, though, was he was a little bit more harsher. You think about it, living on the street, you're a little bit more aggressive. When you may want to kick somebody just to stun them, Todd was out here trying to knock niggas out. So fans hated dude. Fans hated dude with a passion. So what ended up happening was DC put out this contest of what to do with Jason Todd. So basically what happened was Joker kidnapped Jason Todd. Okay? Kidnapped Jason Todd, put him in this building. This building was rigged with explosives. Joker beat Todd to basically the last bit of his breath. Batman is on his way to come save Jason Todd. DC put out a phone-in survey. So, you call this number, you press 1 to let him live, you press 2 to kill him. Fans voted to kill him. All right? So now, yeah. But here's you would say that, but here's the kicker, though. Rumor circulated that a caller, maybe one or two people, and was using an auto dialer. Okay? An auto dialer, which is what most telemarketers use now these days. But what they were doing was this auto dialer will automatically call the number, hit 2, hang up, dial and do it again. Okay? This person set this auto dialer to call in and keep doing this. Because of this auto dialer, the numbers of people who wanted Jason Todd dead compared to the people who wanted him alive was about a difference of 31 to 50 callers. So about 31 to 50 people more wanted Jason Todd dead than they wanted him alive. They don't know how many times the person with the auto dialer called in, but the auto dialer is the reason why Jason Todd is dead. So the thing they're saying is one person killed Jason Todd. because of the auto dialer. DC felt bad about that, so later on down the road, planted Jason Todd, and you got the Under the Red Hood storyline, which is dubbed one of the best Batman storylines to date. Also, it's one of the best animated movies that DC has produced. One of my favorites. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah. But other than that, dog, niggas dying in comics don't mean nothing no more. There's always some excuse why that person ain't really dead. So superheroes don't die. So with that theory being said, of course, with things like the disappearance of some characters, the blatant death of other ones, some who died twice in one movie.
Man, you my nigga so wrong, bro. Like,
twice.
Like first the love of his life sacrifices them for the greater good. Then the big bad villain was like, no, let me bring it back. And then he sniped him again.
All right, now this leads into the question of the week, which is also the title of this week's episode. After going through that, throughout the whole entire movie, one of the key themes that was done throughout every single stone was, could you sacrifice what you love, or in this case, who you love, for the greater good? Because every single stone that Thanos collected was at a cost. Okay? And everybody was put in a position where they had to make a decision of killing the one they love to avoid him from getting the stone. Do you feel?
You know what? Now that I think about that, that is really what happened through the whole movie.
The whole movie. Every stone, somebody had to sacrifice something they loved. Soul Stone. Thanos had to sacrifice the only thing he loved. And of course, as we can see, as much as it pained him, he did what he had to do. To get the stone from the collector, they had to sacrifice it. Gamora put Star-Lord in a position where he had to kill his long-term booty call. Okay? The Tesseract, even though Loki gave it up, he gave it up to save what Asgardians he had left. But that was never the intent. He was intending to try to kill Thanos, and it backfired on him. The Time Stone, Doctor Strange's whole purpose in life is to protect it. Because time can do in the wrong hands. Like, do you imagine how many times I would go back and redo something if I had the Time Stone? Like, you go to have this meal at this restaurant and your food wasn't done good, or you regret even going to that restaurant, you can back up time and go to a different one.
And not spend the money.
And not
spend the money.
And not spend the money. Or, bro, you going to be like 10 minutes late to work, dog. I would sleep for like 8-9 hours, get fully rested, rewind time,
and freeze. I would just stop time and sleep.
Right, just stop time and sleep.
Just sleep and then stop time and then go to work and be well rested and on time and start time again. Yeah, man. And people like, this is rather have time travel or money.
I'll take time travel because you want to know why? No, I'll take time because think about it, dog. If I can control time, I can stop time, go into a bank, okay? Clean out the vaults, clean out the register. Remember, nobody can see me because I froze time to the point that the cameras are not even moving to see me. Get as much money as I need out the bank and go home. So money's not an issue.
Tom, that sounds like robbery, Tom.
It is robbery, but can you prove it? I have the time stone. I can do whatever I want, bruh. whatever I want. Now, here's a catch. Right. Would you take the time stone if every time you used it, it would take a year off your life?
Would
you use it?
Like, even if you stop time for something small and
no matter what you do, when you activate it, it takes a year from you. So if you accidentally open it up, that's a year.
Shit, nigga, how many years I got left?
You don't know.
Shit, we gonna open that motherfucker on one good time, go rob a bank and just be sick.
I don't know, bro.
Okay, I'll wait for like 3 years. I'm robbing 3 banks.
I'm not even. You know what? I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna sacrifice 5 years. Cause the first time I opened it, I gotta go back in time, and I gotta visit some people. Okay. I gotta go back in time. I gotta sit down with my grandmother. Gotta talk to her. One good last time. I gotta do that. All right. Second time, I got to fast forward in time and see how my kids grew up and what they became. That's 2. All right. 3, I got to go back in time, take a picture of Jesus.
What?
You got to take a picture.
Don't believe you when you come back.
It's not for them, bro. It's not for them.
Who's it for?
It's for me.
You gonna mount it and frame it and say this is what Jesus really looks like?
Yeah, it's just you just gonna have this one black. What?
Okay, what if you go back in time and you take a picture and Jesus really look like Ted Nugent?
I know. I might not even take a photo. You know what, bro? I'm taking my and I'm recording it. Like, we kicking it that day. Make sure my phone fully charged.
They're gonna be marvelous. What is thou Snapchatting?
Just saying, dog. Jesus M. Christ. I'm just gonna, just 5 to 10 minutes. Catch one of his sermons. Cause he be sitting out there spitting that gospel. Just gotta record him. He's Jesus, so he gonna know where I came from. All right, so that's 3. That's 3. The 4th one, that's when we do the bank robbery. So at this point in time, I've done a lot of research. All right,
So you want to rob a bank with Jesus? Is that what you're saying?
No. After I visit Jesus, I'm gonna come back. No, after I visit Jesus, I'm gonna come back to my regular time. Cause I need the current technology to hook my phone up to download this video I just took. I'm just saying. I gotta save it. Save it, upload it to Facebook. Gotta be out there. Alright. Shit, I might just sit down and do a podcast with them. Look at you. Let's chop this up real quick, bro. My cell phone ain't got that much juice, so we can get a quick hour show. Save it to the cloud.
What's up? So you just want to put Jesus on podcast?
Why not?
On this episode of the Death Fresh Show, we got Jesus and Christ.
Real talk.
And the M stands for miracle.
All right. Now the 4th one, I don't know about technically robbing the bank, but I think I will. I'm going to rob it, but I'm going to do it smart. So I'm going to go, freeze time, hit up a bank in a whole nother state. Okay? Rob that bank. Drive back to my hometown with the money. Okay? Then, my fifth one, I'm going to take maybe about 10,000, go back to my younger self, maybe like, teenage me. Give him a list of big companies to invest his $10,000 in. Microsoft, Apple, Sony, buy stocks. Just buy stocks. That way, by 2000, 2010.
You can warn the future about, and then you can go back and warn everybody about Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is not that bad. But I'm not worried about that at that point in time. I didn't set myself up, bro. Future's young self got this bread to invest. So before I even go into the military, because I'm still going to do that, I'm going to tell him things to do to live off of that, get good, put this money in these stocks, get them stocks good. So when we hit 2010, we sitting on money, bruh. So just in case the current me, the timeline splits. You know, it does that sometimes. You fuck with something in the past, it changes something in the future. Just in case younger me, because of the money, goes to a different timeline, I go back to my regular timeline so I don't get to eat off of that new timeline. I still got the money I stole. And then that fifth one is the one you hold on to. Sometimes you need to stop time to save somebody. So like, you know, a car crash that may have taken away one of my kids, or Teresa is dying from a particular disease and there's no medicine for it, and I need to go to the future to get the actual medicine to bring it back to save her. Because now this medicine that I'm going to save her with could be the medicine that now gets engineered to create the one in the future. It's that whole cycle. Or even better, I might sacrifice one more year, dog, because if I now figured out I can go to the future to get medicine to keep to fix a lot of ailments from now, I'm gonna go even more into the future and go ahead and take whatever I can that gets me a clean bill of health, and then come back to my regular time. So now the 6 years I just lost, I just got them back, plus some.
See if they got a cure for AIDS.
It probably does. I don't need it though.
Sure. Yeah, are you sure?
I'm positive. I don't need it.
Oh, okay.
Positive.
You don't want to be HIV positive, though.
I'm not that kind of positive. But
you know what though? Like, I was sitting here yesterday, and I was minding my business. I was listening to music, and the edibles had kicked in. And when they kick in, it starts to make you think about stuff that you probably wouldn't think about.
Like what?
So I was listening to music. And like, music makes you just think about, like, when you're high and you listen to music, it makes you think about lyrics more than you probably should.
Okay.
So I was on my old school kick, so I was listening to like a bunch of random old R&B songs. And then since we're on music, we're going to jump to the next topic about Mr. R. Kelly pretty soon. Yep. But you remember the group Black, right?
Of course. The girls, right?
And they had the song Boom. Yeah, right. And they had the song Boom Like an 808.
Yeah.
And as I'm listening to like the chorus of the song, it hits me. At 29 years old, I'm like, this song is about riding dick. It's gotta be. This song is about riding penis. It's gotta be, fam.
First
Boom
of all,
like an 808, circles like a figure eight. Like, and this is what it's about.
First of all, I'm mad at you.
There's no way.
I'm mad at you for just now catching on to that. And you need to be under the influence for it to even click. Second, that is the beauty of old music. Old music didn't come out and just tell you what they were talking about. They masked it behind good melodies, catchy words, and verbiage play. Okay? You didn't always know what they were talking about, but you just knew it wasn't what you thought. Okay? Music this day and age, they just come out and just tell you right away, like, I ain't got time to play. I'm trying to eat the pussy. And that literally would be the lyric. That would be the actual lyric. So there's no subtlety in music no more. But yeah, music back in the day, especially in the 90s, dog, it definitely was max. Like let's talk about lyrics from that one guy who pees on people, Mr. R. Kelly. Like if you actually go back and look at some of his tracks, his first couple of singles was Honey Love. Like, first of all, what is Honey Love? What would you think Honey Love is?
Well, as a child, I assume R. Kelly wanted some honey for his waffle.
No, it was not that.
As an adult, he was clearly saying, "Hey, you should give me some of that drip."
And basically, what it was. No, young R. Kelly.
Some of that young love. It was young love.
So he was basically
young girl.
So basically, he was telling us at a very early age that he was definitely into young women. If he's asking for honey love.
All your favorite R. Kelly songs talk about child molestation. That's terrible.
You know what? Don't do that to me, bro. Because sometimes I do listen to some. Well, I don't listen to it no more. But you don't want. But you don't want to mess up. Listen to when you think he's talking about young women. Like he does have a nasty track record.
Well, let me see IDE so I get me deep. Come on, bro. He didn't want to see your ID. He didn't care what was on your ID.
He wanted to make sure you were underage.
Right. He's like, oh, you legal? You gotta go. You gotta go.
I can't deal with you.
All these legalities.
I can't deal with
you. Gotta go.
No, I mean, but when you look at
open my like. I was listening to a little bit of Samaya, and remember that My Love Is Like Whoa, fam? She just out the gate told everybody, like, look, I got the best box in the game. Nobody got hands on me, fam. It is what it is. I'm Michael Jordan of the sex right now. I was like, oh my God, Maya just got the best box already. This is what you think about stuff.
I mean, maybe she do. Think about it, dog. When you go back to R. Kelly, he did have some titles that now you have to go back and really look at, like, what was he really talking about? Because, like, you seem like you ready. Like, you remind me of something.
This is a special spot.
Step
so
in my room.
Remind you of?
Step into my room. Down low, nobody has to know. Like, when you really go back and you look at it.
That's why Mr. Biggs beat him up. Oh, girl was underage. He was sleeping with Mr. Biggs' daughter.
So that's what it was. Wasn't his wife? It was his daughter?
It was his daughter. That's the story they won't tell you. Everybody wants you to think that R. Kelly was knocking Mr. Biggs' wife. He was really sleeping with his daughter. Because, I mean, look at the video, fam. Who gets beat up and left in the middle of the desert over a wife? I mean, sure, you love your wife, but you don't love your wife, but you love your kids.
I mean, since we're talking about Robert, I mean, but some of his music was the shit.
Robert.
Like, Robert. It just sounds like a rapey name. I'm sorry. But, I mean, he has some good hits. Like,
Robert Kelly.
Like, he has some hits that was not always, about that. Like, when a woman's fed up. Like, for a long time, and still even to this day, old black single women, that was they anthem. That's the song they turn on when the relationship was over, and they finally.
Okay, so here's where I throw a monkey wrench in your plan. So is the woman really fed up, or did she grow up and is now an adult and realize that you've been on some rapey shit the entire time I've known you, Sam, and I'm not standing for it anymore?
You might be right there. Okay, what about Fiesta? Fiesta was a party.
Yeah. What about Fiesta? No, who's invited to this party?
It's a fiesta, so it's probably Hispanic people.
Got Friday on the DVD. Come on, man. Ain't no grown woman watching Friday like that. That was the movie for us younger people.
He had a song called "Feeling on Your Booty." I wish.
Whose booty is he?
I don't know about that. I'm feeling on your booty. Feeling on your booty. I'm mad he used to get that high note for that. Okay, what about the tracks with him and Jay-Z when they did the Best of Both Worlds albums?
Maybe that's why R. Kelly got pepper spray.
You might be right, dog, because he had a song called Take You Home With Me. Green Light. Somebody's Girl.
Maybe,
Shorty.
Maybe by the time it was time to do the second version of the Best of Both. Maybe by the time the second Best of Both Worlds album came out, Jay-Z had realized that R. Kelly is a freaky dude. And he didn't want no parts of that, so he had him pepper spray.
Do you think...
It's kind of strange.
Do you think that Jay-Z... Do you think that Jay-Z may have known about R. Kelly's nefarious ways, and so I'm not fucking with you, bruh, and that's why the tour ended?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure he brought like 7 teenagers to the studio, and Hov was like, "Yo, what's this, B?" And he's like, "Hey, get out of here."
It's like, you got to go, bruh. So what you're trying to say is Jay tried to throw the girls out because they was definitely too young. He didn't want them back there with him and his entourage. R. Kelly was like, hold up, bruh, and they got into it. During the fight, because he didn't want to shoot, somebody got pepper sprayed. So one of the little young girls, because she didn't have a gun, took the pepper spray out the purse, spraying everybody because she didn't like to be, she didn't know what to do, and Kales caught it.
Facts. R. Kelly was pepper sprayed during the studio session. Okay. That sounds like a plausible story.
Only women carry pepper spray. You know what? That is a true statement. Only women and security guards carries pepper spray, and I don't think no security guard felt threatened enough to take out pepper spray. So he probably did get sprayed by a woman. But speaking of this,
underage woman at that.
All right. So for those of you who may be listening and be like, y'all going hard on R. Kelly right now, what has he done to justify the current hate? Because if you don't know, people, right now, currently there is a Mute R. Kelly movement going on where people are basically demanding major stop the play of R. Kelly's music, the sale of R. Kelly's music. Spotify, being one of the companies who is also backing this movement, has recently removed all of R. Kelly's music off of Spotify. But a lot of people are like, well, what has he done besides the peace situation that has justified this outcry? Yes, people, Bill Cosby has recently just been found guilty. He has not been sentenced as of yet. It'll be a while before we actually hear that information. Because there's appeals and everything that can be done in regards to it. But with R. Kelly, he has came up a lot because a lot of people are saying, why has nobody ever came after this man? And he constantly keeps doing stuff. So here's a track record of a few things in R. Kelly's history that justifies the current movement that's going on in regards to him. First things first, if you did not listen to music 90s, you don't know nothing about music in the 90s, you just happen to be born in the 90s, there was a young lady who came out named Aaliyah. She is the blueprint to almost every single R&B singer you have out right now, even Beyonce. Even in the movie, the terrible movie, but it was still in the movie, where her and R. Kelly got married. Thing about it was at the time R. Kelly was 27 years old and Aaliyah was only 15. Due to the fact that Aaliyah is not alive and she was actually forced to annul the marriage. To this day, I still don't know why she even did it. I think dude coerced her and basically said, I can help your career, and she married him as some pack. Okay.
First of all, here's my question. Now, in order to get married, you either have to be in front of a preacher, who is a man of God, or a judge in a courthouse. So who let this go on is my question.
Well, think about it is, bro, depending on what state you're in, some states do allow you to get married at that young of an age because of cultural reasons. Like some cultures, like Hispanic cultures, for an example, a kid is considered an adult when they're 15 because they have this quinceañera for the women and the boys have some kind of like little ceremony or whatnot. But once you have that 15-year-old ceremony, you're an adult. Whereas in Americans, we do it at 18. Once you turn 18, you get all these rights and you get to do all these things. Hispanic communities, especially Mexicans, for an example, they do it at 15. So if you go to a Hispanic heavy area, the priest might not be against marrying off a 15-year-old. Normal. Actually, a lot of cultures, marrying off the young is normal. It's only America who's gone ahead and minimized it, that being married at that young of an age is considered a bad thing. Okay? So it is, let's be honest, to us it is. It's horrible. Like, what could a little 15-year-old do for you, period? Especially when I think about how girls used to look when I was 15. Yeah, some of them had developed a lot faster than others, but at the end of the day, what could she possibly do for you? All right? But this wasn't the first time R. Kelly was dealing with a 15-year-old.
I don't know, because when I got to ninth grade, it was like a whole new world.
True, but not to the point where a 27-year-old should want you. That's what I'm getting at. All right.
Yeah,
so in December of 1996, Kelly actually got sued by an aspiring singer named Tiffany Hawkins, who alleged that he engaged in inappropriate sexual conduct. The thing about it was, Tiffany was only 15 at the time, and R. Kelly was 24 when this happened. So this actually even happened before he even knew Aaliyah. Okay? So this was 3 years before the so-called Aaliyah marriage ever occurred. The thing about it was everybody spread the rumors that the allegations was false. And R. Kelly turned around and countersued her for defamation of character. Then at first, it was still denied, but he later settled the initial lawsuit for an undisclosed amount of money. Now, I don't know about you, bro. All right? But when somebody goes behind closed doors and says, hey, here's the money, shut up. Yeah, I feel like you're guilty.
Guilty.
Right? You're guilty. Okay?
You are guilty.
Now, going back to the Bill Cosby case, the one person who was able to find Bill guilty, this was something from their past that came up, that Bill did pay this girl off at one point in time. This is why we said that this was her sugar baby, though. But because money was exchanged for activities or silence, that's why they was able to find Bill Cosby guilty. And in this situation, because she took the money to shut up, the lawsuit was dropped. Okay? But, you know, me and you, when something like that's considered guilty. Now, unfortunately, luckily, a particular reporter named Jim Derogas, Derogas, was investigating R. Kelly from the Aaliyah situation and then the Tiffany situation. He never stopped the investigation. Luckily, because of him, this investigation led to the sex tape that eventually leaked about R. Kelly engaging in activities with the young woman, the young 14-year-old girl, and being peed on. This actually led to R. Kelly and the indictment on multiple charges for child pornography charges, which we later come to find out he was found not guilty. Okay? Some people said that because his money was long and video footage was bad back then, it's the only reason why he got off. Okay? In 2002, let me go back. 2000, another young lady named Tracy Sampson actually sued R. Kelly for allegedly having sex with her when she was 17. Okay? R. Kelly basically talked her into giving him oral sex. She did not want to. He was often treated as his personal sex object, and when he did what he did, he would cast her to the side. He would call her to come to the studios to go ahead and engage in sexual activities. He often tried to control every aspect of her life, basically being very controlling. Ironically, like the first case, it was also settled out of court, and they reached an undisclosed deal. Once again, money was paid, people were held quiet. All right. Now in 2002, a young lady named Patrice Jones sued him as well. Lady was 16 years old. Okay. This was actually reported
Why are they suing this man?
Well, because what happens is R. Kelly gets these young girls, and he sells them a dream. Now you got to remember, dog, R. Kelly was the king of R&B, dog, and this was during like late 2000. So what albums were he dropping during this time? This was during the time when things like Chocolate Factory, The Best of Both Worlds, TP2, like these were his big like TP2 was the big album out during this time, and he was working on the Best of Both World tour. So all of this right here was during that time frame. And during that time frame, Kelly was writing for a lot of people too. So he was the dude. So if R. Kelly says, hey, I can put you on, you're not going to argue with it, especially if you a young teenager. Think about it, 17 years old, you in high school, in the cafeteria eating chicken patties, being hit on by the fat kid who you can't stand, and somehow R. Kelly comes across you. Okay? And you seen what he did for other, like Aaliyah's career. You see how his music is going. So you saying, fuck it, I want to work with dude. And that's how these girls are doing. They're finding that R. Kelly wants to work with them and wants to get them somewhere. And it turns into being his sex object. And in their mind, it's like, okay, maybe this is how the business goes. Maybe if I do this with him, I don't have to go and be a musician. I can just marry R. Kelly and get money that way. Or I can have his baby and get all that child support. Okay? This particular one, Patrice Jones, even though she first started messing around with R. Kelly at 16, he talked her into having an abortion. Because of that situation, of course, you know, if she had the kid, it would have got out. Kells would have been done. She sued him for the money to be quiet, in so many words, because they didn't say what she was suing him for. I'm thinking he was suing her because she wanted hush money, because after that happened, he threw her to the side. Basically, in so many words, once again, Kelly fighted it going to court. The singer eventually settled out of court for money. So once again, this is like the fourth girl who done settled out of court. All right. On May 24th, this is literally a month after the abortion one, a third lawsuit comes from Montina Woods, who's an exotic dancer who claimed Kelly's taped her during a sex session without his permission. This is probably the only person who done came up that's over 20. I mean, over 18. And she sued him because he recorded them, and apparently the second sex tape, which is the one that everybody's been talking about lately, that the police done had, was her. All right.
That's the one when he was eating ass in a barber chair?
No, that's still in the first one. This was supposed to be a more recent one for an older woman. All right. Because this was in, what, 2002? No, this might be the second scene on that same tape. That might be the second scene on the same tape. Because I remember it was two different girls on the tape. So, yeah, this one might have been her. All right. Now, 2017 in July, this is what the most recent information is that everybody's been going on about. Basically, the same reporter who had Kelly about the underage women 20 years ago basically got a recent break in another story. It was basically said that the singer was accused of running a sex cult and he was preying on young black women. Now, if you look at the previous 3 or 4 cases that we talked about a minute ago, the allegations were all younger women. The only one that was not was the stripper chick who got recorded without her permission. But the investigation focused on 2 women who were allegedly being held by Kelly in his rental property, a 19-year-old chick from Georgia and an 18-year-old chick from Florida who was 17 at the time she met Robert, who he allegedly submits to emotional abuse. According to the reports, this includes dictating what they ate, how they dressed, when they bathed, when they slept, and how they engaged in sexual encounters that got recorded. So basically, he done took 2 chicks, put them up in a spot, and he controls their everyday lives. Okay? They didn't do nothing without his permission. In a later report, the women who were once in Kelly's inner circle described seeing the sex cult as witnesses of Stockholm Syndrome. If you don't know what Stockholm Syndrome, people, it's when you've been captive so long that you start to relate to your captors. So it's like saying if Juan held the chicken in his house against her will, and over time she started.
My nigga, why it gotta be me?
Because I got a wife and kids. I can't be holding people captive with wife and kids. You single. I'ma use you.
Most people, most weirdos who do shit like that have wife and kids.
Nope, they be single.
You don't watch TV?
They be single because you don't know.
Nope.
You know what? You can't categorize.
I watch too much.
Only thing we can say that is constant in any of these crazy people is they're usually white. But cult leaders are usually white.
I watch way too much. Law and Order SVU. He had a whole wife. He had a whole wife and kid with a 13-year-old in the basement, and the wife acted like she didn't know who was in the basement, because she was probably a victim too. Goddamn.
Probably. All right. So in this particular case, Stockholm Syndrome is when you start to relate to them. And this is what happened with these young ladies. They had got to the point where they had been doing it for so long, and so many lies are being told to them in such a controlling situation at a young age. They basically started to believe that this is how things are supposed to be and this is normal. So when things start to hit the fan in regards to it, they actually came to his aid. All right. Now, another particular woman, Johanna Pace, actually signed the non-disclosure agreement, but she went on ahead and violated that non-disclosure agreement and actually talked about having sex with Kelly while she was underage with the same reporter who's been doing all this investigation. All right. Now, this was in July of last year. Fast forward to October, another young lady named Kitty Jones actually comes out as well, too, detailing alleged physical and emotional abuse that she suffered while in a relationship with Kelly. Kelly starved her. He coerced her in sexual encounters with other women. He physically abused her, and he kept a constant monitoring on her. Now, the fact that she assumed that they were in a relationship with all of this going on definitely is a sign of Stockholm Syndrome and a truly controlling individual. All right? Then, get this one, this last month. In a criminal complaint filed on April 9th, an anonymous woman and her lawyer told Dallas police that the accuser was victim of several forms of criminal misconduct by Kelly, included but not limited to unlawful restraint, furnishing alcohol and illegal drugs to a minor, and aggravated assault. The woman reportedly had a relationship with Kelly when she was 19 and when she was allegedly being trained to be in his cult. Okay. Have you in mind that also a couple of people, including part of R. Kelly's legal team and his actual staff, has basically cut all ties with R. Kelly as well, too. So, my thing about Mr. Robert, is the people that have been around you all this time. Why is people just now looking at R. Kelly and saying something needs to be done about this dude? Like, how do we allow it to grow this far?
You asking me?
I'm asking you, bruh. Because Kels is in his 50s now.
I don't know. I knew out here dressing like a superhero, too. Like, niggas wearing spandex outfits with baseball caps. Like, something wrong with that.
Like, because I'm sitting here looking.
I mean, honestly, they probably should have got R. Kelly out of here when he did an interview and confessed that the first woman he ever wanted to marry was his mama. So they should have hit that nigga with the straight jacket, padded room, threw away the key.
I mean, because I'm looking at.
Got him out of here fast.
Because I'm looking at an article that was done, and it was like his new accuser, which is a 19-year-old girl we were just talking about. The new accuser says she's 19 at the time the crimes were alleged to have occurred. Accusation of sexual-related crimes with teenagers are a recurring theme in the singer's life. An ex-girlfriend once said he trained a 14-year-old girl to be one of his sex slaves.
Yeah, like, dog, get out of here.
Like, my whole thing is, what could you find sexually attractive about a minor? Like, you couldn't find...
Well, I don't know, Tom.
You couldn't find great qualities in a mom? Like... Like, it's terrible.
That's what happens when you... Hey.
So, are you down with the Mute R. Kelly movement?
Hey, it's been a while since I had listened to any R. Kelly.
So if R. Kelly came out and dropped a new CD tomorrow, and the CD is fire, okay? It's fire.
I'm not sure I want to listen to it. But seems like, so do I hold your actions that you commit privately against the art? I mean, you know, R. Kelly is a bit of a pervert, and I use bit really loosely because he was a major pervert. But his music is still fire. But it's like, do I really want to dig deep into like, well, what was your inspiration behind how you put this great project out? Because I don't think I want to know. It's kind of like how Popeye's chicken is delicious, but if I was to work at Popeye's chicken, I probably wouldn't want to eat it.
I would have to go with, the best example is the Frank Ocean song, where what song was it? I can't think of the name of it. Where he wrote the song.
The song you want to talk about having gay?
Yeah, it was like the song was phenomenal. It was a missing you song, and it was definitely an open love letter. But then you go and find out the open love letter was about one gay moment he had.
A man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thinking about you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about you. I couldn't think of the name of it.
I know the meaning of this.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It's like the song is great. It's definitely a song that if you want to sample lyrics from it, to send it as a text message to a girl you talking to and you ain't said nothing, you haven't seen her in a couple of days, it's definitely a great source to pull from. But then
it's great source material.
Yeah, it's great source material. But then you have to sit back and say to yourself, but this was written for a homosexual. So you can't listen to the song without picturing Frank Ocean laying on the bed with a thought bubble of some gay guy oiling himself up in his head. Pause. But like you can't take it serious now. You can't. It taints the music, and that's kind of how I feel about like the R. Kelly situation. X Tanaki, I don't care about dude, but he's getting muted too.
Okay, I feel like you can't use Frank Ocean as an example.
Why not? That's exactly what it is.
I get how you do. Because we're not homophobic.
We're not
We're
not homophobic, but we know that it affects the music. I don't care what you say. It affects the music. I feel like if that song came on the radio and you was in the car driving, you still might sing it. I'm not singing it. I'm gonna look around and see who in the car with me and look and see how they react.
You're singing it because you know in the context of you singing it, you may be talking about, or you should be talking about your wife. I was gonna say you may be talking about your wife like you wouldn't be thinking about your wife. I don't really know what you think about Tom. You may think about rabbits and monkeys. I'm sorry.
I mean, sometimes
my allergies,
but not for that reason. Okay, so then that would using that same example. So that means that when feeling on the booty come on and you in the car with your girlfriend, you gonna lean over and sing the high parts of feeling on your booty to your girl, but you know in the back of your mind that Kels would probably rub it on the 14-year-old chick was making this song.
It was teenage butt. He was rubbing teenage booty.
Right. So because he was rubbing on teenage booty,
maybe
you're gonna tell me that you can honestly sit there and continue to listen to that song without having the chills coming up your spine. Like, ugh. Okay. Still gonna have fun with your girl, but you're gonna be like, ugh, I hate you niggas.
yeah, bro, boss creepy. And I don't know what XXXTentacion has done. I don't listen to review it, but with a name like XXXTentacion, we should probably get that nigga out of here too.
All right, so the reason why he has been put on the chopping blocks, especially for Spotify, is in 2006 he has multiple felony charges for domestic violence, including aggravated battery of a woman, domestic battery by strangulation, false imprisonment, and witness tampering. Bro, that's
my nigga is.
So basically, Broden went out here, then got somebody pregnant. Okay? Then got somebody pregnant, beating on her, tried to choke her out. It was his ex-girlfriend. That's what I thought it was. All right. Okay, so nearly 1 year after the Florida rapper allegedly assaulted his pregnant girlfriend, the woman's 2.5-hour testimony, which she gave in January, details a series of disturbing physical encounters with the rapper. The two reportedly met online, number one, and later linked at a movie theater. From there, X invited her to a party and expressed his interest in the woman. He quickly suggests they move in together. Mistake number two. Roughly 2 weeks after moving in with X, she claims the alleged physical abuse began. After she complimented a male friend on his jewelry, X slapped her and broke her iPhone. The same day, he approached the woman with barbecue sauce, pitchfork, and a barbecue sauce cleaner and asked that she choose between the two because he was going to insert one of them in her vagina. She was never penetrated by either one of them, though. But it's the fact he came up there and asked her. The woman also claimed that while they were living together in Orlando, Florida, X threatened to kill her almost every day. One of the most disturbing acts of violence happened after X reportedly heard the victim humming along to a featured artist on one of his songs. As a result, he headbutted her, punched her, stomped on her, put her in the bathtub where he continued to physically abuse the woman. To cut out her tongue because I was singing the song. In August of 2016, X was arrested in a separate case. During the time, the woman moved in with some of X's friends and ended up having sex with another man. Okay? A month later, X was released and they got back together. The woman later found out she was pregnant with X's child, which they reportedly planned. But while confronting her about the person she had cheated on him with, X threatened to kill her and her unborn child. You need to tell me the truth right now or I'll kill you and this shit, X reportedly told the woman after his phone call. JIT was in reference to the unborn baby. After taking away her phone, he kept her in the bedroom for days, unable to escape. Ultimately, she was able to break free and get help from an ex-boyfriend's mother who drove the woman to the hospital. X is charged with aggravated battery of a pregnant woman, domestic battery of strangulation, false imprisonment, and witness tampering. If convicted, could face significant amount of prison time, and apparently he went to court on October 5th. So, yeah, this boy didn't have it all upstairs anyway.
Out of here, dog.
Like, dog needs to be assassinated. Like, this is the time when you feel like capital punishment needs to come back because it would be definitely justifiable on this fool. Like, bro.
Yeah, like, get this nigga out of here, bro.
Okay, so
he's tripping.
No one deserves physical abuse from anybody for any reason. And the fact that she was getting abused because basically dog was in his feelings. Something was wrong with dude to begin with. I mean, number one, apparently he does not know how to have a relationship because a lot of that shit never have happened. Number two, I don't know what was wrong with her to begin with because, first of all, you met him online. You met him when you seen he was an up-and-coming popular rapper, or you must have had some issues going on at home, and he seemed like a way out because after only thing you did was go to the movies one time with dude. You opted to move in with him. Like,
must have showed her the goods in the parking lot.
Like, something right there isn't right to begin with. But taking consideration the younger generation doesn't know anything about love anymore. They do everything for money and status. So the fact that he looked like he had money and you fell in love with the fact that he had money coming in, you thought you made a come up. I give you that. People used to do that back in the days. These old school R&B singers in the 50s and the 60s, they come rolling through your town. You think that's the hottest thing out right now. Dog wants to shack up with you for a minute. You do it. You think you about to make the lick. I'm not mad at you. Let a popular singer woman come at me in my younger days talking about let's go on the road together. I probably would have did it. I told my mom in a heartbeat, like, hey, I got this new woman. We in love. We about to hit the road. I'll talk to y'all later. Like, I'm not going to lie to you.
I gotta go.
I'll talk to y'all later. But the minute when you realize things wasn't right, like, he hit her not even, like, 2 weeks after moving in. Like, bro, what would she say? She said that somebody's necklace was fly and he slapped you. That at that moment, that's the sign to get the fuck out. And he broke your phone, and all you said was somebody had a fly phone. Then that he came to you the same day with a barbecue pitchfork and a barbecue sauce cleaner. Bro, that's the little brush you clean off the grill with. You didn't think that, you know what, this might not be the life for me.
Somebody gotta get this nigga out of here, bro.
Look, that nigga got to go. And Spotify has also banned his music from theirs as well too. Now, you can't what to say? You can't search the music, but it does still come up in the playlist, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So if you get the This Is section, curated one, you'll get that. But if you were to go to the Rap Cavalier, so the ones where Spotify features up and coming artists, that nigga is gone. He's not in there whatsoever. My question is will other venues such as like SoundCloud, who elevated his popularity because he was a SoundCloud rapper in the beginning, will they still keep him as featured artists or music on there? And like, I don't know, bro. Like, what is wrong with this generation, bro? Why would you want to put a pitchfork in your chick? And that's supposed to be.
Maybe she all that nigga. Maybe he called her Stella.
He didn't. That was the problem. She didn't do nothing yet. Now, don't get me wrong. After he got locked down, she did go smashing other niggas. But after your man threatened to put a pitchfork in you, I will go look for somebody else too. I would think it's time to move on.
Bro, the chick threatened me with a pitchfork. I'm not coming home.
True, you shouldn't.
It's game all the way over, son.
Yeah. That nigga got. So, here at Tonedefradio, we have come to the master conclusion that that nigga gotta die.
These niggas is crazy, bro.
Like,
and the women are crazy too for putting up with this shit. Like, man, y'all gotta relax.
I think they just buy into the promise of what could be next. All right. Now, unfortunately, this is not the last bad story that we have today. Apparently, Young Lo. Now, I don't know who this is. This is one of these new rappers. Basically has recently been accused of a rape involvement with a young lady. And the sad part is it happened at a Chris Brown party. I really hate that because Chris is trying to get his life together. And he out here just trying to do what's right, and he keeps getting drug and shit. Like, pretty soon, Chris...
Well, I heard that Chris Brown had nothing to... I heard he had nothing to do with it.
He didn't, but it was the fact that it happened at his house. It happened at his house. All right, so on to lighter news. One, are you...
What is lighter?
Huh? Are you a fan of Will Smith?
I give you with Will. Will's
Okay.
Cool.
Are you also a fan of Martin Lawrence?
I can give you with Martin.
Okay. So, what is one thing that these two guys have in common?
Bad boy.
What if I told you that it's official, that there will be a Bad Boys 3?
About time.
So, it has been official. Sony has gone ahead and actually announced the release date for the third movie, Bad Boys 3, a.k.a. Bad Boys for Life. The release is not going to be anytime soon, of course, because of the busy schedule of both Will and Martin, as well as production. The movie will not be released until January 17, 2020. Now, technically, that's not too far away, being the fact that we're already halfway done with 2018, and we got enough Thanos stuff to hold us over in 2019 that we'll be okay.
Right. We got
a few
enough
more
Marvel that we can wait on Bad Boy.
We can wait on it. So, yeah. So the plot summary for the upcoming movie is the film. We see Lawrence's character Marcus working as a private eye after a fallout with Smith. Mike, who is going through a midlife crisis as a bachelor, who finally wants to mature, all while dealing with a new, young, cocky partner who is loyal to Mike, but that loyalty is not reciprocated. Find bonds with Ned when he returns to the fray. So basically, in so many words, Martin's character is off doing his own thing now. He's tired of Will Smith shit. He doesn't want to work with dude anymore. He's too wild. But now Martin has hit that age where most men, when you're out here sowing your wild oats and you basically have sowed enough, and you want to settle down, and now you see somebody under you basically being you. Everything that Will Smith went through when he was with Martin, he's now going through with this new young cat, and he needs help. So that's where we are. To me, I feel like
that makes entirely no sense.
It does. It's the growing up part. So, when you were young,
the only reason why it doesn't make sense is because in Bad Boys 2, what you just read is what they were going through, but they fixed it. They fixed everything. Like, he didn't want to be his partner no more. He filed for the papers, and then they got back together, and then they went to go save his sister at the end of the movie. And then everything was cool. So where in that time are you going to tell me that they weren't getting along and make me believe it? See,
might see it.
I don't want to see the movie now. It's over.
No, you're still going to go see it, so stop lying to yourself. For all we know, you know what, stuff still happens. How many times have couples gotten together and tried to fix their marriage and stayed together only to still get a divorce? See, because that's how you have to look at it. Martin and Will's character was basically a couple. They were partners. Everything they did it as if they were a couple. Okay? So just like any relationship, sometimes you hit that point in your relationship where it's best to be apart to still be good. And that's what happens. They're friends. They couldn't be partners no more because of life. Will's character was always a little bit wild. You can't say he wasn't. Okay? So Martin was like, dog, I'm a family man now. You're still a bachelor. That doesn't mesh. It doesn't work all the time. This is like me and you. The only difference is that you're not an outgoing party person. You don't have to go out kicking it all the time. So if you were always going out kicking it and me and you are always together, eventually I'm going to be like, bro, you need to sit the hell down. And you're going to eventually be like, why? I have no responsibilities. And that's going to pose a problem in our friendship. That's basically what happened in this so-called backstory. Their friendship was in jeopardy. So, to save the friendship, they couldn't be partners no more. Plus, remember, Will was dating Martin's sister. So that could have been a conflict of interest, and they probably couldn't be partners no more after that either. It just didn't work. So I don't see the problem with it. It's the typical, it's like saying now Noah is starting to grow up, and Noah is doing things that you used to do, so you might be like, dog, you stupid, don't do that. And Noah looking at you like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. In actuality, you know exactly what you're talking about.
As long as he ain't taking the shirt off on purpose, says I'm okay.
Sadly, we live in a generation that he might actually do that. And it's okay.
No, it's not okay.
No. It's not okay in our eyes because it's not okay. But the people around him was like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Donald Glover's out here taking shirts off, shooting people like in a woman's stance. And gunning down a whole
ever shoot me like that, bro.
Bro, you better die. You just better die.
Nah, bro, I'm coming back. I'm asking God, like, hey, bro, I gotta come back. Ain't no nigga shooting me like this, bro. Yeah, he was standing like Michael Jackson in Smooth Criminal.
Because he is a smooth criminal.
You should not be allowed to shoot people like this. So, in other news, I have recently, I have a direct TV app on my phone now, where I can watch TV from my phone. I watch my DVR, all that good groovy shit.
Do you have to be connected to your internet to do this?
No, I can do it. It's like data-free TV. I can do it when I'm at work and all type of shit.
Oh, shit, let me get that log in.
You don't even have DirecTV.
I don't need to. I just need your login.
That's true.
I'll let you get up on my HBO Go.
Anyway, you deluded me from my story. You're trying to compromise my intelligence.
Continue.
Have you watched the full season of Atlanta?
I have not watched all of this season. I think I stopped. I stopped right after the barbershop episode.
That episode was funny as shit.
Dog, I was so pissed for him.
Like, dog.
I was so mad for him.
Oh my life, it's like, man.
And then the fact that the barber had the audacity to get mad when he was in somebody else's chair. But then the realest thing about that episode was Paperboy had to kind of like retell Barber to cut his hair, which is something we always tend to forget about.
His personal struggles with not wanting to get another barber, but life goes on, my guy.
It does. All right, continue on.
But yeah, so they got this. I don't know if this nigga was supposed to be Michael Jackson.
Oh, the episode with the brothers.
That episode was so weird.
The piano. Yeah, it was a very controversial episode that people were talking about because, okay, so this season of Atlanta has the subtitle Robin Season. Okay? So every episode has a Robin theme in regards to it. All right? Like the barbershop one was being robbed of your time. Okay? Aaron had a lot of stuff to do. The barber was basically playing around because he had already messed up his head. He had to get it fixed. Okay? So the whole thing was robbing for time. That episode with the two brothers was about robbing you for your childhood. Throughout the whole entire episode, you kind of thought that the pale dude, which was played by Donald Glover, if you didn't know, was supposed to...
Oh, yeah, that's definitely Donald Glover.
Yeah, that was Donald Glover. Was supposed to insinuate a guy who lost his childhood. Now, you're thinking the whole entire time, yeah, it's very Michael Jackson-ish when you think about Michael Jackson's childhood to the point that he was a grown man trying to live his second childhood. But you find out in the end that the brother really did exist. And the other brother was the caregiver. What the theme was in regards to that was the brother got robbed of his childhood because he became responsible for taking care of his famous brother instead. So everybody got robbed of their childhood, and the brother who was confined to a wheelchair got robbed of his freedom. But yeah, it was weird.
Okay, wait. So the guy Donald Glover played, that was the guy who was robbed of his childhood because he ended up being a caregiver, correct?
Right. Correct.
So who was the nigga in the basement? Was the nigga in the basement the famous brother?
The famous brother.
That was the dude in the basement.
Right. He eventually ended up contracting something where he had to be the caregiver. But at that point in time, the caregiver brother took advantage and was like being the brother. So it's like saying, I'm your caregiver, but I hide you from the rest of the world and take credit for everything you do. So that's what happened. He wanted his freedom. He killed him. It was all bad. It was the fact that all Aaron wanted was a piano, and he couldn't even get his piano, dog.
That episode was boss creepy. Dog. Hey, he was like, it's a shotgun in the attic. He was like, no, I can't try to go in the attic. Try to get out of here.
Facts.
Yeah, so.
It wasn't Aaron. What is the friend's name? I always forget his name.
You talking Darius?
Darius. all Darius be wanting. Darius is probably the smartest dude on that show, and don't nobody give him credit.
Yeah, he definitely is very insightful. That's because all potheads is woke, man. You smoke weed, you get woke. You wake up.
Didn't he take a Make America Great Again hat and change it to You Mad?
He did.
Pissed off some white people. All right. So, with
hey,
that being
you gotta piss off white people sometimes.
Yeah,
White people are easy to piss off.
No, they're not easy to piss off. They're easy to make awkward. They get awkward. Like when you put them in situations where they don't know how to respond, very awkward. All right, so we have come to the end of the show. We've gone over a little bit on time because we really talked about the Thanos situation a lot longer than I expected. But that's because it was supposed to have been done 2 episodes ago. All right, so definitely make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. Check out, we actually have 2 shows being recorded tomorrow. Make sure you check out Love, Meditation, and Inspiration. It's Miami B's new show. She's actually stepping away from Undress for a while and being on her grown woman stuff. And also tomorrow night will be the debut of the Urban Retcon Squad with me, Baron, and Travis. Yeah, bruh. Retcon. As we go ahead and we dive into comic books, movies, and video games, this particular week we're diving in a comic that all 3 called the New Teen Titans. Specifically, we're covering the origin of Tara. If you don't know who Tara is, check out the Judas Contract. She's literally been a key character on almost every alliteration of the Teen Titans. The cartoon, Teen Titans Go, the comics, the movies. So we're going to go ahead and dive a little bit in regard to that storyline. And also, we're going to have our epic battle. Something new here on Tonedefradio. Juan, I'll ask you first. This week's edition of Epic Battles, we are actually having, who was it? The Winter Soldier versus Deathstroke. Who do you think will win?
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke? All right. So we'll go ahead and talk about that. One has cast his vote for Deathstroke. With that being said, people, we are going to go ahead and close tonight's show the only way we know how.
I'll be on tomorrow's show.
No.